So in your bio, I know that you, first of all, are such an individual. I mean, we all are, but you're particularly, I think, expressive
Mhm,
in a variety of ways. And we talk a lot about the cult of culture. So the pressures and the judgments that we all experience over a
mhm,
lifetime, um, I know you've experienced.
mhm.
And I'd love to hear how your creativity, it sounds like from an early age, has helped you transcend that to be who you really are.
What a great question. Yeah, I think that everything roots back to poetry for me. I think there's something so freeing about the form of poetry, which can be so doesn't have to it like breaks all the rules of traditional writing and language in a way that's really freeing and allows just the visceral feeling to kind of shoot through. And and so yeah, I think everything as a kid, I was, just always really interested in the arts. I danced and created, plays in my garage and made little films on my grandmother's camcorder. And it always started with some line of poetry for me, and was really also like the kid that I'd get CDs, of musicians, and I wanted to read all the lyrics. And to me, the first sort of poet that I discovered was Fiona Apple. I really um, resonated with the lyrics that she was writing, and how much imagery was infused in those lyrics. And so during a really kind of tumultuous chapter of my life when I was kind of just stepping into puberty. My mother was an addict, and there was a lot of chaos in my house, and I always retreated into the written word and art as a way to kind of escape and also make sense of the world around me. And yeah, I feel like poetry has always been the thing that just kind of frees me up for the creative channel to flow. And certainly was a big part of me stepping into my queer identity too, having this format to kind of make sense of my identity and how I was starting to claim that for myself.
Mhm.
So yeah, arts
Yeah,
medicine. Mhm.
thank you for that. Yeah, I think Fiona Apple is a brilliant poet. And I'm glad you mentioned MySpace. It's been a minute, but that was special, for a time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I bet a lot of us on this call, we're around for it.
Yeah,
Uh, Yeah.
definitely.
So you talked mostly about your poetry, which is, of course, what we're doing today. Although I should say,
Yeah.
for anyone who's here for the first time, you don't have to write poetry, which is broadly defined anyway. You can write in any form you want. Um, but I know, I'll say to your credit, because you were modest about it, you went to Tisch
I did.
and studied acting. You were an actor, so I'd love to hear about that side of your
Yeah.
creative being, and if you sort of compare the two, or how it feels to be in your body and to express in that way.
Yeah, they're so similar in a way. That acting can feel like it's such a physical art form. And for a long time I started acting professionally when I was about 11 years old. And it's just it's always been like the thing that I thought of myself as an actor. I didn't go to college initially. I moved to Hollywood as an 18-year-old fresh out of high school, and was pursuing that path of acting. And at some point, I fell out of love with the business of acting, and the entertainment industry and the way that I was doing it in Los Angeles, and decided to go to theater school in New York and pursue that. And I felt for a long time like I would be like cheating on acting if I had other artistic loves in my life. Um, but everything always seems to funnel back to writing for me. And so while I was at Tisch, I ended up deciding to take on a minor in creative writing. And I'm finding that the different art forms that I do really fuel each other. There's something just so alive about the theater for me. Being able to, bear witness to a story together, that it will never be the same as it is that evening with those people that are in the room. And live performance is just, there's something sort of dangerous about it, I think, too, in terms of like, you have to embrace the mistakes and be present with what's happening, even amongst the audience. Somebody's talking, or just incorporating all of the life and energy that's happening in that space with you, which I think is so cathartic. And I make films as well, and yeah, I'm having a really fun time sort of letting my different artistic art forms feed each other finally, because I think there was this resistance, like, well, I'm an actor, I've put myself in this box, and slowly started to realize, like, oh, but I had all these other loves as a little kid, whether it be painting or drawing or acting or creating like a set in my parents' garage to film like a little music video with my brother. All of those tangible little elements are so life-giving. And so, yeah, just letting them all kind of fuel each other and try new things too. I've recently started painting a little bit with my mom, and that's new for me, and just learning how to not be a perfectionist about it, and approach things with a sense of childlike play is really freeing.
Love that. And sort of bridging the two, performance and poetry. We are fellow performance poets. We do typewriter poetry for Ars Poetica, our partners in this running salon. And we have LA Marks, known to me as Lisa, who's on this call. And and final question before you read a piece, I just want to ask you what that experience is like, sort of these, two talents you have, passions you have coming together, and especially connecting with strangers, with all kinds of people in the process.
Yeah, so vulnerable. And I definitely tap into my sort of performer self when I'm reading my poems. And I think all of that acting background really gave me a deeper connection with my own voice and rhythm, and just taking up space with a voice, and playing with inflection. And yeah, so those two things feel like they go hand in hand, but there's something so comforting about being able to read somebody else's words as an actor. And it's taken, and I'm still in the process of kind of learning how to take up space with my own words and perform them. It's a whole different vulnerable experience than, reciting some words from a script, from a play. And so that's been a really interesting and cool challenge for me.
Thank you. And without further ado, you're going to read a piece of yours, and then I'll give a prompt based on that for everybody's writing to spark your writing. Amazing.
I'm going to read a piece. It's called Teeth, which is the title poem of a book of poetry that I'm working on. So here goes. Somehow, I take in air, unseeable something filling insides, breath. Why do we need you? What do the plants need? Something I forgot from biology class, a 13-year-old face down, a chipped desk, chair attached, puddle of drool, a place to rest. My bed, a different place, a place for sealing secrets, anatomy I didn't know I owned, fuzzy bodies, a TV VCR combo I wanted to know what touch made. My ass groped in the hallways, pushing past lockers, eyes fixed on shoes. I didn't even dream you then. Chlorophyll, is that what plants need? The sweetness of female sleeping beside me, friend. Intimacy like a mist I couldn't get my hands around. Tender kisses, gentle practice for the chapped mouths of boys with Cheetos in their teeth. 8th grade, a hotel room, 16 girls with curlers in their hair, dutifully fluffing pom-poms on the floor, but no one cared if we won. We left glitter-coated kisses on the window overlooking SeaWorld, mouths puckered for someone we didn't know yet. We thought we were funny running naked through the halls, tripping over discarded room service, little fingers pressing the button for the elevator. Ding. Doors opening to a man in a suit, bewildered by a huddle of pinky flesh, brand new tits, untouched ass. We shrieked but felt no shame. We didn't know what shame was yet. Freedom in lightweight frames. We lay 3 to a bed listening to TLC repeat on the boombox. What was sleep? Wanting to touch those lips again. Something in my hips whispering, one day, one day, one day, you. One day I fall so hard I crack my head and flowers fly out, melting in air, the craziest thing, a thing that can't be believed with eyes, love that knocks your teeth out. A 17-year-old on a scooter, crushed like fire, looked and saw my life. April, a spring, spools of film spilling out of our ribs, our thighs, fear that blinds. I lost my step, lost myself, you, trying to make a life that meant I could keep. Most times I can't remember if I'm real. Are you? Easy, 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 sliding into the bedroom with the red light. I left my shame outside this time. My mind a misfire, like somehow, somewhere in New York, some slip of metaphysics, you were feeling the pleasure I was giving her. Squint and pretend, but she isn't. No one is. I threw some pennies in a fountain and wished for your bliss. I meant my wishes. Bugs flying around, leaves swinging in the breeze, and thought maybe I would like to be a tree rooted in earth beside another. No, it's in the choosing to stay, drought and downpour that makes all the difference. I'd cut my arms off to be able to fall into our bed. Then I'd have nothing to hold you with. And this is just the riddle. Sun, water, soil, put those in my lungs. I don't become a tree. I breathe air like human beings are wont to do, and air can't be the only invisible we need. If tree has need for water, she is a scream in search of a mouth. That scream in me, looking for a way. Something in my hips, whispering, one day, one day, one day, you. And if I never, I'll remember, I'll remember, I'll remember, I'll remember. Thank you.